Charlie, how are you doing today?
I'm good, thanks.
Good. Okay, so since we last met, I just wanted to follow up and get progress and kind of let me know what's been going on. How's everything at home? I know that you started new medication with your new diagnosis of bipolar, so I want to get a feel of how that's working for you and what has changed, how you've adjusted. So can you fill me in on how's everything at home and how are you feeling?
The medication, I guess, helps. I'm not really sure. I seem a little bit more calm and not as tense, more relaxed, I guess. I think it kind of helps me with Michael a little bit. You know, I used to see him do some pretty stupid stuff, and it used to just make me real upset. And now I just sit and talk to him, and I ask him, you know, why was he doing it that way versus just my first initial thought was to hit him upside the head. So I find myself being more relaxed in most situations at the house.
Good. Okay, so you guys are definitely communicating a lot better with Michael. So what about Nancy? How's medication helping with working everything out with Nancy? I know you guys were a little iffy last time we spoke.
Yeah, it's always that way. I mean, I think she always looks for something. Even if I'm doing something right, she looks for something I'm doing wrong. I'm just more relaxed. I'm not as tense. And so I've actually asked her, what would you like me to be doing different? And I think it shocked her. I think she wasn't prepared. So I think that maybe since I've been on this, if this is what has caused it was this medicine, she's maybe seen something different, and she hasn't seen that before.
Okay.
So I think it's helping.
That's good. And sometimes it might take a while for her to be ready to talk about subjects that you guys really haven't touched on or things that, she might want to talk to you, but she just doesn't know how to bring that up. So I'm glad that it's relaxed you and you feel more comfortable with conversating with her and Michael. So that's really good progress. Now, how about looking for a job? How's that coming along?
I have a third interview coming up this week. It's for a supervisor's position at a school as a janitor. So I hope I get it. I know I've done this before, but what's different is I've never been a supervisor, so I'm a little nervous about that, but it's also something I'm used to, so I feel a little bit confident, and wow, a third interview, that's usually a lot better than I've had before. Usually it's just the first, so I'm excited. We'll see what happens.
That's really good progress. I'm really glad to hear that. And yeah, third interview, that's always really good. So best of luck whenever that comes. Now you said you were a little nervous about the supervisor position. What makes you nervous about that?
Well, I can't even supervise, or I never used to be able to supervise my own household, and now I'm going to supervise people underneath me, and there's going to be people watching me. I mean, it's a school. There's teachers and principals and all these kids. I mean, I don't know how I'm going to be able to react to that additional pressure. So I'm just nervous to that new role, but I'm excited because I haven't had a full-time job in so long, so I just hope I don't screw it up.
Yes, and that's definitely going to be change, adjusting to a new schedule, but also keep in mind that you're a supervisor, but you're also going to have somebody else that you can go to if need be, that can always guide you, and if you feel uncomfortable or you're unsure as to what actions to take. That's the advantage of a job, is that you always have somebody that's gonna be there and can tell you or lead you, and at times whenever you're unsure. So that's really good.
Well, good. Thank you.
Okay. So where are you looking now that I know we're getting close to termination? What are you looking for your household? So now that you're communicating a little better, what future goals do you see happening at your home?
I think just continue that unity at home, trying to continue working on our relationship, making sure that the prescription for my drugs are working, reconnecting with my daughter, I think is the next step. She hasn't been around in a while, and I think she's kind of stayed away. So I'd like to continue working on that relationship. If mine and Michael's is working well, then I'd like to get Rena back in because, she is my daughter, even though she's adopted daughter. She's been part of our life since she was 6 weeks old, and we love her and we want her back, but I think that she's been really afraid of what's been happening in our house. So I think next is I want to get her back into the family and have her feel confident about her brother and her mom and dad.
Of course. Yes, that's really good. Now, what are some things that you did with Michael that kind of you noticed that helped out you guys' relationship?
Oh, I played video games with him. He didn't like fishing. We tried
So
that.
I know you mentioned you guys tried that and that wasn't really.
I don't understand
successful.
that, and I probably never will. But the kid loves video games, and I stunk at it, and I was really bad. But he taught me, so I just sat and I learned. And so I think that he saw me doing something that he likes, and so I think he was more willing to, sacrifice a little extra time to teach the old man a couple things. I still can't beat him at that game though, whatever that thing is called, Mario Kart or Brothers or something. But anyway, I think that's kind of helped. So we stay up
Okay.
late at night and we play sometimes. So
Now, I see that you guys are doing things of his interest. Have you guys done things that are of your interest? Does he like, for example, does he go to your comedy shows? Things that kind of show him a little bit more about you?
no, he can't go to the comedy club, and actually I've been slowing down on the comedy club a little bit. I think that by talking to Nancy a little bit, trying to understand some of her frustrations, that she was mad about me doing them, and even though I've been doing them for so long, I took a couple weeks off and just stayed at home. And so I would like to do something with Michael and I just don't know what it is. But I'm sure we'll probably figure something out.
Okay.
Maybe we'll go away for a day or something.
Good. Also, I mean, I'm sure you guys are still learning a lot about each other. Although you're his father, he's your son. It's great that you guys are doing things of his interest because that way you guys can build a relationship. But also, you want to make sure that he's still getting to know his father, and doing things of your interest as well, where you guys can kind of meet each other halfway. So you did mention that you and Nancy spoke about the comedy show, and she wasn't really big on it. Now, what kind of feedback did you get from that?
Well, in trying to be a better father or be a better husband, I try to listen to some of her frustrations and her comments about that she was embarrassed by some of the stuff I was saying, and she never really got the fact or understood that I even chose a different name, and to her it didn't matter. So I just started realizing that if I want something a little bit more of a happier environment, that I should try to figure out why it was upsetting her. And so I think that maybe she'll realize that if I change my act, that might help. But I decided to just take a couple weeks off. I mean, I wasn't getting paid for it anyway; it was leisure for me. But it seemed to be a little bit better of a situation at home, knowing that I wasn't at somewhere else talking about the family. So I think it helped in our conversations.
But I'm glad to hear that you guys are able to communicate about that. Now, moving forward, I know you said you just took off some weeks, a couple weeks off. You're not getting paid for it. Now, looking at the future, do you plan on going back, or are you just kind of just waiting it off? And what do you plan on doing with that?
I don't know. I think I'm really hoping to get this job, and maybe this job will be a really good deterrent for, keeping me busy. But then, this was once a week, so maybe I need to find something else that I can do to fill that time or fill that void that I didn't have before. So I don't know. Maybe Nancy and I, or maybe that's something for Rena and I to try to reconnect with on that available time. So I don't know. I don't have those answers yet.
That's fine, and it's gonna take time, so that's okay. But I'm glad that you were able to communicate with your family and kind of get an input on why I felt like before when we first started, you were a little unsure why she was kind of bothered or she wasn't really telling you much. So I'm glad that you guys were able to communicate about that and kind of give you an understanding of how she felt, and you put that in consideration. Now, and also just moving forward, there's also a lot of different things that I feel like you have a passion for that based on the information you told me. So I feel like it's okay for you to explore different options and maybe find different things that are of interest to you. Just because you want to make sure that you guys keep the communication going, and you want to make sure that you guys have a good relationship moving forward. I know that's kind of what the goal was to begin with, right?
It was.
Okay, so do you feel like so far you've accomplished things that you wanted to accomplish compared to when we first started?
I do. I think that we've really changed a lot in the few weeks that we've been together, and I've been able to see myself in a different light, and I think some of my family has too, whether that's just in my style or the medication, but together I think it's all put together, the pieces are helping, and I think it's helping me be a better person around the house.
Good, I'm very glad to hear that. Okay, Charlie. Well, so far, it looks like we're getting close to termination. The next session we're gonna have, we're just kind of do an overview of everything, the progress, the goal that we set, and kind of wrap it up, if that's okay.
So next week's our last week?
Yes, can you believe that?
I can't, what will I do after that?
Well, we can kind of go over, like things that you could do. Obviously, we won't be here, and we won't be meeting, on a weekly basis how we used to, but I can definitely, give you some advice and kind of refer you to like things you could possibly do or strategies you could focus on whenever you feel like you can't communicate well with your family and things like that. And we'll touch up on that next visit. So we'll definitely go over that. Okay.
Okay.
Alrighty. But it's not the last one yet. It's till next week. So we'll revisit next week and kind of get a see where everything's at there, and then look at how far you've come. Okay.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Sounds
Well,
good.
I'll see you next week. It was nice meeting you.
Thank you.